Westmont Village Board meeting of March 25th, 2021 to order at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Sinski for a roll call, please.
Mayor Gunter?
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Barker?
Here.
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee Brady?
He's not on yet.
Not on yet. Trustee Guzzo?
Here.
Trustee Little?
Here.
Trustee Nero?
Here.
Manager May?
Here.
Attorney Zemanek?
Here.
Finance Director Parker?
Here.
So, we got everybody. All right. Would everybody please rise and join me in a Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. It is still hybrid, so we have some of the trustees off-site. We do have a quorum, and I'd ask, open forum, I'd ask Manager May if he has any requests online for open forum.
There are no online submits for public forum. I understand there are a couple.
I have two open forum request forms from individuals that are here. One from Bob Fleck, but I think Stella. Or I'm going to wait for Bob, or are you going to?
He's supposed to be here at 6:15.
Okay, we'll wait for Bob from the Lions Club. He's wants to thank the village. And then Karen Moffett from 1009 Forden Way in Westmont. And I know Karen's been a park board member for several years, and she'd like to introduce herself to everyone. So Karen, if you can come on up.
Okay. I haven't mastered the non-fogging glasses with the mask on.
You're okay there.
I'm Karen Moffett, and I currently have the honor of serving as a commissioner for the Westmont Park District. I've been on the board for 3 years, having been appointed after 2 of our long-serving commissioners passed away. Then 2 years ago, I was officially on the ballot to finish up the end of Diane Main's term. And now I'm hoping for another opportunity to serve the community in the role of Park District Commissioner. I really love our town. I moved here over 20 years ago, it's hard to believe, when my husband and I got married. So we're originally Southside Chicago kids, and now we're from the south side of Westmont. And somehow our kids are already 10 and 12 and 16. And I am convinced there is no better place on earth to raise a family than this town. I'm also a teacher in Marker District 60. I've been the band director at Westview Hills Middle School for over 15 years too, which goes by in the blink of an eye. I think in the last 3 years I've learned a lot from Bob Fleck and Commissioner Karish and Jim Long, of course, about serving on a park district board. And one of the things I've learned and really grown to appreciate is the great relationship we have with the village as a park district, and I value that and hope we can keep our park district going in the wonderful direction it's been going in for so long, and continue to offer such amazing programs and wonderful green spaces to all the citizens of Westmont. So that's all. I just wanted to say hi. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
No problem. We'll wait on the other open forum, and I'll move on to reports, and when Mr. Fleck shows up, we'll allow him an opportunity to address the board. On the reports, mine is first. Again, like I've said, this is still hybrid. Village board meetings will continue to hold these teleconference meetings until such time that we feel it's appropriate to open it completely back up. I am going to ask Fire Chief Steve Riley to give us a COVID-19 update. Chief.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you. Good evening, Village Board.
So currently today, total COVID-19 cases is at 80,524 in DuPage County. They have started a new process where they have 74,732 confirmed cases with another 5,792 what they are now calling probable cases. COVID-related deaths still continue to rise. However, they are getting much slower in DuPage County at 1,285. And unfortunately, we have seen the positivity rate go back up to about 3.8. There is a slight uptick reported in the number of reported case activity in all age groups in DuPage County, with the exception of those that are over 80 years or older. Total cases in Westmont is still continuing to climb, and as of this afternoon, we're at 2,029. What I would just like to briefly talk about to those that are watching at home is, as you know, we are in a bridge phase and we are trying to get back to phase 5, which is no limits. But as you probably have heard the governor say recently, we are having another uptick, and that uptick could be from spring break, back out eating in restaurants, in bars, etc. So as more of our residents receive the COVID-19 vaccine, Illinois will operate with the metrics-based pathway towards the 5th and final phase of Restore Illinois reopening plan, in which all sectors of the economy reopen with businesses and recreation resuming normal operations, and where conventions, festivals, and large events can take place. Following recommendations for the public health experts, Illinois will move forward with a dial-like approach between the mitigation in phase 4, which currently apply in the entire state, and the post-pandemic new normal at phase 5. This bridge to phase 5 will allow for higher capacity limits and increased business operations before public health experts allow us to move to phase 5. So again, Mayor, I'll end it as I always do, that, folks, we need to continue to social distance, continue to wear face coverings, continue to sanitize and wash our hands. And, we certainly are out there supporting our downtown local businesses and restaurants. We need to continue to do that, but we want to do it safely and efficiently to make sure we're all doing the right thing. So, Mayor, that's my report, unless you or the board or anybody has any questions.
Anybody got a question? Seeing none, I appreciate it, Chief. To go along with Chief's report, we do have a lot of people asking about our community events and whether or not they're going to happen, which is a good thing. Everybody likes our events, our taste, barbecue, the cruising nights. But at this time, all the events are still on hold until the state guidelines allow for the events that encourage large community gatherings. Once that is approved, then the village will move forward with processing community events that utilize public property, village public property. Yesterday morning, we had a police public safety committee meeting. This is the first one. In the past, we had our public safety committee, which was comprised of the fire department and the police department, all in one committee. We broke that off, and now we'll have a fire public safety meeting by itself and a police public safety. And yesterday, Chief Gunther gave a outstanding report, annual report, and updated us on all the new laws that may go into effect as far as policing, body cameras, and other police activities. It was a great year. Our police department has done a fabulous job. And along with that, tonight, I'd ask Deputy Brian Gruen if he could please come up so I could present him with a 20-year plaque. And on behalf of the village, I honor you for your deputy chief from 2001 to 2021. That doesn't mean you're leaving. It means you're 20 years of service, so congratulations.
It was highlighted at that Public Safety Committee meeting yesterday, but Deputy Chief Gruen was in remote attendance, so the mayor made sure to embarrass him tonight.
No, it's appropriate to do it here.
Yes.
Whenever possible. The 100th anniversary, I think we had our best pet contest, And it is over. We had 35,000 visited the contest post on the village Facebook page. There were almost 5,000 total votes, and our winner was Garrett, who was owned by Mary and Bill Honorad. All the pets in the contest will receive 100 anniversary certificates for participation. Pictures are all posted on the village website, and Garrett will be featured in the next issue of Neighbors Magazine. 100 anniversary flags have been received and will soon be hung at public agency buildings throughout the community. Public Works has made and hung a new 100th anniversary banner for the front of the Village Hall and has also placed the 100th anniversary logo in the boardroom. Thank you. And one more thing, I'll go back to open forum, and I'll ask Bob Fleck, who's representing, I think, the Lions Club tonight. He'd like to address the board.
If you can't tell. Lions Club. Mayor, trustees, thank you. I'd like to take a moment to thank you and acknowledge a generous gift grant that was received by the Lions Club from the village board. I'm sure, as you all know, the Lions Club, like so many, was seriously impacted by COVID. We have not been able to fundraise and do all the special events, except for one. We did have a drive-through breakfast pickup. That was the only thing we were able to accomplish this year. But all of our other fundraising activities came to a screeching halt. What does that mean for the Lions Club? It means it's very difficult for the club to support people in need in our community. Everything from families and children who can't necessarily afford eye care, eyeglasses, hearing aids. We feed the hungry. We work towards diabetes, but we also do things such as support baseball teams, provide high school scholarships for graduating seniors, for any senior who lives in Westmont, regardless of the high school they attend. And it's been a real challenge to put forth those kinds of charitable givings throughout the year. Furthermore, some of our members got together and provided PPP early on during the pandemic around the community, gave out backpacks to students who don't have backpacks. We still did some things, but it's been real hard to keep it going, and our reserves have been dwindling and dwindling rapidly. So the money that you provided, $2,500, doesn't necessarily go to the Lions Club, even though we're the stewards of that money. It goes right back into our community. And I know some things were didn't look so good at the beginning of the fiscal year. It turned out better. So on behalf of the Westmont Lions Club and our president, Sela Qualiza, who is very shy and humble, and that's what makes her such an effective board member and member of this community, is because she's always concerned about others. We thank you for that contribution, and know that that money just goes right back into our community to serve those in need.
Thank you. And Bob, any idea tentatively where the barbecue may end up?
Well, stay at Ty Warner Park, and as of right now, we are planning to have the barbecue Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of Labor Day weekend. Of course, all Memorial Day activities are canceled at Ty Warner Park. That includes Race to the Flag. But we are full steam ahead on the planning end of it, and our intent is to host that event, Labor Day weekend, unless we are told otherwise as we get closer to the event. And that's what we hope to have happen this year.
Thank you.
Again, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on. One more item. Members of the 100th Anniversary Committee are also working on a community history walk, a new written history for Community School District 201, and a 100th Anniversary commemorative license plate. Details and updates will be announced once they are confirmed. So that's all I have, and I turn to Clerk Simsky.
I just want to remind everybody that local voting will take place on April 6th for open positions at the Village, Park District, Township, and Library. Voting by mail and early voting is also available. Please check the village website for more specific information. Yard waste and compost programs begin April 5th. Free leaf pickup in craft paper bags is the week of April 12th to the 16th. This is for leaves only. Regular yard waste will require stickers. And just, I want to wish everybody to have a wonderful Easter season and happy Easter.
Thank you. And the whole thing about the 1 week, whenever it's your pickup, hold all your bags. It's free that week. So leave your leaves out front the week of the 12th through the 16th. Trustee Nero.
Thank you, Mayor. Before this meeting, we had our regularly scheduled Public Works Committee meeting, so I have just a few highlights. First and foremost, I'd just like to congratulate again Chad DeVries on his acknowledgement for Public Works Employee of the Year. We appreciate all his efforts and thank him for his commitment to the village. And then we also heard a great presentation from our Public Works Director, Mike Ramsey, on our year-end Public Works report. I encourage everybody to visit the website. It will be published on there and eventually shared on social media. Please view it. Lots of good information. You can see all the effort, all the work, and all the accomplishments they had not only this year, but even previous. So we again are very fortunate to have that entire team and appreciate all their efforts. So thanks to Mike for his leadership and the entire Public Works Department. We had a really nice presentation on the Addington Plaza, which we got to see a couple renderings, and it was great to see how it's shaping up. And we hope to have that. The target date is for September, so the public should expect to see a little bit more of that in the near future. We also had an update on the Liberty Park water main project. I know our Mike is working closely with some other governmental entities on investigating and researching the potential of improving the infrastructure in Liberty Park for drinking water, so more to come on that. And then we also had a good presentation from our village forester, John Yater, on an initiative that the board is going to support on No Mow to Mother's Day. So it's an EIC, Environmental Improvement Commission recommendation that comes to the board, or they came to the board with sustainability in mind and improving the environment just here locally by not mowing our lawns for a few weeks. So the board agreed to give it a shot to Mother's Day and expect to hear some publication on that, and hopefully you'd commit and give it a shot. It's for a good cause. And last but not least, I just want to remind everybody, like the village clerk did, to make sure everybody gets out to vote. A lot of good candidates on the village slate, so please get out and vote, even though I'm opposed. I know they all appreciate the support, and we got a heck of a team. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Little.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next Administration Finance Committee meeting will be held April 8th at 4:30. Our budget workshop is scheduled for April 15th, and we do invite the public to participate. The Village e-newsletter, sign up online because we have over 3,000 people signed up so far. They're enjoying the information that's provided by this newsletter. WSEC, in conjunction with the village, put together a Shamrock Challenge contest. We had over 60 teams and 200 people participating. Participants looked throughout the community to find 100 hidden shamrocks and more. Our third place winner was Janice Hornsberger and Chuck Boyles. They had 145 points out of a possible 150, so they did extremely well. Our second place team also had 145, but they provided their answers a day earlier, and they were I think I missed that name. I'll come back to that one. The Baldwin family actually scored 148 points out of a possible 150. So they did extremely well. We were very excited to find out that they did that well. I didn't think anybody was going to come that close, but they did extremely well. Our second place family were the Delano family. So they did extremely well also. I think that everybody that participated had a wonderful time. The Baldwin family has been declared the luckiest people in Westmont. And we want to thank everyone who participated, including our top sponsors, Kim Heller from Baird and Warner, the Uptown, and the Welsh Bar and Grill. So that was awesome. The Westmont Special Events has updated and launched a new website. We invite everyone to check out the WSEC website. As soon as any event is approved and confirmed, you can go to the westmontevents.com and get up all of our updates. Thank you to our WSEC intern Calvin Harrian and Westmont High School junior Pranav Viswanath, who also helped out with the creation of this website. The new Easter event that's coming up is going to be the Hopping Around Westmont Community-Wide Easter Egg Hunt. Not going to tell you a whole lot about it. You'll have to go to the website and sign up. It will occur on April 3rd and 4th. It's only for 2 days. So go to westmontevents.com and sign up for it. I think you'll enjoy it just as much as the last one. So thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you. There's a lot of events, even during the pandemic, we were able to offer, so thank you. Trustee Marie Johanna Guzzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only thing I have this evening is our next Fire Public Safety Committee meeting is going to be April 22nd, 4:30. It is going to be a hybrid meeting, so I want to invite everybody to attend that meeting. And I just want to echo the clerk, too, with everyone enjoy the Easter holiday season. It's warming up outside, and get out and take a walk and just enjoy the great weather. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Barker.
Thank you, Mayor. Westmont first met on March 15th, and really the takeaway from that meeting was all the effort, the Lions Club and the struggles that they went through, but the effort that Special Events has gone through with this COVID pandemic and, District 201 and overcoming those obstacles, and they're just phenomenal things are happening, and there are events happening, and the optimism that's coming back into the community, it's just really nice to see. So that was a good meeting, and we are still anxiously waiting our census results also.
Yes.
And then as far as the EIC goes, we meet again on April 5th, and this year we are having the Rain Barrel program, but because of the budget restraints, we're not able to subsidize them this year. I know that people have asked for a little bit about the program on Facebook, but it's nice to know that they're available and we'll help you get those, but we aren't able to subsidize them at this time. And then the composting program that was brought forward by the EIC begins on April 5th. That is an optional program, and to participate, you can sign up through Waste Management website at wastemanagement.com. And we want to thank the volunteers, the Environmental Improvement Commission, for leading the charge in creating this new composting opportunity for our residents. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Harold Berry III.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Going to start off, unfortunately, I have a little bit of bad news. I'd like to send the condolences out to the Pasquinelli family. Larry Pasquinelli has passed away since our last meeting. Obviously, the namesake to Pasquinelli, the old previous mayor, Andy Pasquinelli's son, and the original owner of L&J Auto that still exists here today on Cass Avenue. So condolences to their family, and also to the Pica family. Frank Pica has passed, and a lot of us know him through his involvement with the KC Hall. Of course, he, got 4 boys through town, and I think even a grandson that had served for a while on our fire department. So, a couple guys, what I consider local legends that will be really missed here in town. So, again, condolences to their families. We have been meeting with the EDC. And matter of fact, we've been still doing the hybrid, and today we met, and we just reported a lot of the same things that are still going on. Quincy Street Station is moving along. We've heard just fantastic reports back from Vincitori and the new operation going there, so we encourage everyone to check them out. Moskov is looking to make new plans and already has some hopes to make some changes to their patio. So things are going there. And again, we encourage you, with using social distancing and the masks to patron these new businesses and give them a warm Westmont welcome. The Ogden Avenue Medical Center is really just in the final stretch. Bruce has said that they just got to button up a few things, and they look to open. And Larry Forsberg has reported that after April 1st, again, with social distancing, looks to be a couple ribbon cuttings that are going to be getting scheduled throughout the community. Of course, a lot of people are anticipating the new marijuana store and cannabis store, rather, and on Ogden Avenue. And they're looking to probably have a grand opening at some point in the near future. And then in planning and zoning, we're working on a couple changes on some water retention along Cass Avenue in the 400 block. And the whole team there is working with a lot of the restaurants that had the outdoor dining during the COVID. They're looking to temporarily do that again. And a lot of them may even look to do some permanent outdoor dining because of the success that they had with it. So planning and zoning is working with them great. And they're actually going to give them, once we're assuming that we'll move to the phase 5, but they're actually going to give them even like a 28-day grace period after that ends to get things in order for, cleaning up and so forth. So we appreciate them being lenient on the businesses. And again, we are trying to help everyone through these tough times. And that's all I have today, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And Trustee Brady.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We all know spring is here. There's a special military memorial garden that's being planned and developed at the Veterans Park by the Park District. It is for a U.S. Army Medal of Honor recipient, and a dedication is planned for Memorial Day 31 May. Thank you.
Lost. Thank you. All right, moving on. Does anybody see any items they'd like to be removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'd ask Manager May to please read.
This evening, first on the consent agenda are village board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the village board meeting held February 25th, 2021. Followed by finance ordinance number 20 in the amount of $2,550,527.16. Purchase orders, first purchase order, the first 3 purchase orders are Baxter and Woodman for $49,600 each, and these represent different projects. Phase 2 engineering, I'm just going to quickly describe. Phase 1 and Phase 2 engineering are the preliminary engineering. Phase 2 is the engineering design, construction plans, and specifications. And then when we talk about Phase 3, which will come up later in the meeting too, those would be like the construction, actual supervision and testing services in the field. So the difference between 1, 2, and 3. So back to the consent agenda, the first purchase order is Phase 2 engineering for East Des Moines Street water main. Second purchase order is Phase 2 engineering for the South Linden, East Dallas, and South Warwick water main. Third purchase order is for Phase 2 engineering for Warwick Avenue water main. All 3 of these contracts you've already awarded. These are just the accompanying purchase orders. Next purchase order is the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency in the amount of $25,984.86. This is the loan repayment for the 2010 water main project. Next is Client First Consulting Group, LLC, $28,000. This is for the services extension for our ERP implementation program. Total of the purchase orders was $202,784.86, brings the total of purchase orders together with finance ordinance number 20 to $2,753,312.02. Last on the consent agenda is a proclamation for National Library Week. Board to consider a proclamation to declare April 4th through 10, 2021 as National Library Week in the Village of Westmont. That's the consent agenda, Mayor.
Do I have a motion to approve as read?
Motion to approve is read, Little.
Second, Parker.
Second, Jerome.
Motion made and second. On the question. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
Trustee Brady,
Yes.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
Trustee Nero,
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to new business, and we have a series of engineering agreements for different projects. So, new business A, engineering agreement for 2021 CBD Alley Reconstruction Project D. Board to consider ordinance authorizing an engineering agreement with Thomas Engineering Group for Phase 3 construction, inspection, and material testing services for the 2021 Central Business District Alley Reconstruction Project D. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. We're requesting to approve the sum of $79,886.32 for Phase 3 construction, inspection, and materials testing services for 2021 CBD Alley Reconstruction Project D. That is the alley between Linden and Burlington, just on the east side of Cass. Staff is recommending approval of this proposal from Thomas Engineering.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Barker.
It's going to be you, Bruce. Motion been made and second. On the question. Seeing none, I had asked for a roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
Trustee Nero,
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business B, engineering agreement for 2021 Lincoln Municipal Parking Lot Project. Board to consider an ordinance authorizing an engineering agreement with Thomas Engineering Group for Phase 3 construction, inspection, and material testing services for the 2021 Lincoln Municipal Parking Lot Project. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. We're requesting to approve the sum of $84,871.12 Phase 3 construction, inspection, and material services for the 2021 Lincoln Municipal Parking Lot Project. Staff recommends approval for the proposal from Thomas Engineering.
Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Barker.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, I have a roll call, please.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
Trustee Barry,
Yes. Yes.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
Can only vote once.
Trustee Brady,
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business C, engineering agreement, 2021 Central Business District Alley G reconstruction project. Board to consider an ordinance authorizing an engineering agreement with Thomas Engineering Group for Phase 3 material testing and inspection services on the 2021 Alley G reconstruction project. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. We're requesting to approve the sum of $86,862.84 for Phase 3 material testing and inspection services for the 2021 Alley G reconstruction project. This is the alley that's behind the new Holiday project that goes from Lincoln to Richmond in the alley there. So staff recommends the approval of the proposal for.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Barker.
Motion been made in second. Any comments? I guess, Director Ramsey, what does this leave us then? How many more alleys do we still have to complete or start?
Really, there's only one more after this. After Alley G, there'll be one more. If that's what if the board wants to go that route, there's one more to go. It will be the whole CBD area, at least on the north side and part of the south side.
Good, thank you. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
Trustee Nero,
Yes.
Trustee Brady,
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion carries. New Business D, Engineering Service Agreement, 63rd Street and Richmond Avenue, Stormwater Improvements. Board to consider ordinance authorizing an engineering agreement with WBK Engineering for Phase 1, 2, and 3 design and construction engineering services for the 63rd Street and Richmond Avenue Stormwater Improvement. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. We're requesting the approval of the sum of $10,874 for Phase 1 and Phase 2 design engineering, and $109,112 for Phase 3 construction for 63rd and Richmond stormwater improvement. The plan includes restoring the stormwater storage, stabilization of the banks on the detention pond, and installing a new village gateway sign. The staff recommends approval of the proposal in the total amount of $119,980 for Phase 1, 2, and 3 design and construction engineering for the stormwater improvement.
Have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Barker.
Motion been made and second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
Trustee Nero,
Yes.
Trustee Brady,
Yes.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Motion passes. New Business E, Engineering Services Agreement for North Washington Street and Oakmont Lane Water Main Improvements. Board to consider ordinance authorizing an engineering agreement with Baxter and Woodman for construction, Phase 3 engineering services for the North Washington and Oakmont Lane Water Main Improvement Project. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. We're requesting the approval of the sum of $74,500 for Phase 3 construction engineering services for both North Washington Street and Oakmont Lane Water Main Improvement Project. Staff recommends approving the proposal of the $74,500 for Phase 3 engineering services for both projects. This just a little note is that this North Washington is the last street from Burlington to Naperville Road that needs to be replaced. Now that entire northwest section from Cass to Cumner, from Burlington to Naperville Road will be completed. All those streets will have brand new water main on them.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Barker.
Motion been made and second. Comments or questions?
Mayor?
Yes, sir, Mr. Barker.
You know, so it's unusual that we have 5 engineering agreements in a row, so I think it's important to say that, you know, we're spending a lot of money on engineering, but it's bringing in experts in whether it's a water main or an alley or stormwater improvement. Those experts are improving the area. It's not, you know, the impression that people get sometimes is, you know, the village staff sits in an office and they go, yeah, we could try this over here and see if it works. But what they're really doing is looking for an expert to go and analyze the situation and make an improvement. And the reason I bring that up is because there's a lot of engineering fees that go along with it. And I believe after sitting here for a number of years now, that, you know, why it seems like a lot of money, it's services that you need because you are bringing in the experts. And the work that's being done is an actual improvement, whether, you know, the people that are, you know, seeing stormwater flooding in their backyard don't believe it's an improvement. It actually is an improvement to the community. So we're just lucky enough to have the revenue to be able to spend the money to make these improvements. 5 engineering agreements in one night is a lot, and it is a lot of money, and it's, again, money well spent.
It's the money you need to spend. You can't have the staff to do all these specialty engineering requirements.
And that's it, it's a specialty.
Yes, and the job, when it's done the right way. So,
Yep.
thank you for that. Any, uh-oh, Manager May's
Well,
gonna hand up.
I'm just gonna all the points well taken and appreciated it being recognized, but the reason there's 5 on one night also is that we just spent a year postponing a lot of public improvements. So these are all Phase 3 engineering, and these are all construction ready to go. So we're gonna have a fun year this year. And get a lot done.
Well, all these are projects that are very necessary, and
Yes.
that's great to hear. All right, any other comment? I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Let's see. Trustee Brady,
Yes.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
Trustee Nero,
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on, new business F, hey, it's not an engineering agreement. Okay, lot coverage definition text amendment. Board to consider a zoning ordinance text amendment to the Village of Westmont's Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, zoning, Article 14, definitions to amend the definition for lot coverage. Director Sylvester.
Good evening. Very briefly, this is a proposed text amendment basically to do a basic change of removing regulations from a definition. And it's just good practice to not put regulations in when you're trying to define something. And the current definition for lot coverage includes a lot of regulations. We're requesting that those be removed to just make a clean, simple definition of what is lot coverage. If there's concerns about, will this mean that stormwater concerns are not being addressed, that is not the case. We're still keeping all of the stormwater regulations in place. They're just located in a different section of the village's ordinances.
I don't know, is anybody here for this item, or? No? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion to pass the text amendment.
Motion to approve, Little?
You're on a roll, Bruce.
Second, Bart.
Motion made.
I'm convenient.
To approve. Any comments? Attorney Zivit.
Just one additional comment. There was discussion of planning and zoning. Besides wanting to remove any references to stormwater issues from a zoning ordinance definition, also the fact that by allowing a 50% or counting permeable pavers as 50% towards lot coverage was problematic according to our staff and the village's consulting engineer, because those pavers, unless they're maintained, after about 3 years, they become compacted with silt and debris and lose all of their permeability. So that 50% bonus that the village has given to people in this definition really was only good for a few years, and then unless it was maintained, which most people don't, it was kind of meaningless. Likewise with decks, there was a 50% bonus given to decks because rainwater could fall through decks. But as it turns out, people generally put either concrete patios or compacted stone or something underneath there, which takes away all the permeability. And so that bonus, it felt like should be eliminated from the definition.
Thank you. Yes. Any other comments?
So the end result of that then would be that it's become more strict.
It's become more strict, but since this was enacted, I think there's some other creative ways that the village uses to work with either developers or homeowners to manage stormwater, whether it's dry wells, swales, et cetera, so they can maximize their lot coverage if they wish and have other ways to deal with water.
Yeah, and then there's Bruce, what is our current lot coverage allowable?
In most areas, it's 35%. There's a couple situations where it can go up to 40, but 35 is the standard.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
Trustee Brady,
Yes.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
Trustee Nero,
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
Trustee Brady, or Barry, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business G, window wells text amendment. Board to consider a zoning ordinance text amendment to the Village of Westmont's Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, zoning, Article 4, Section 4.05, E39, to allow window wells as permitted encroachments under certain circumstances in all required yards in the residential zoning districts. Director Sylvester.
So this proposed amendment to the zoning ordinances is being requested by or recommended by the building commissioner, Jason Vitale. And this comes from several seasons of construction where people come in with plans for homes. You know, they might build the house as close to the setback requirements as they're allowed. The plans get approved, they build the house, and then they come back around later and say, oh, we need window wells for egress out of a basement bedroom unit. And suddenly it gets really complicated, and maybe the window well encroaches too much into the required yard or gets too close to the side lot line, et cetera. So the recommendation here is to just clarify what the rules are up front, where they're allowed, where they can encroach, what easements they have to stay out of, and clarify all of that, and then we'll make that clear to builders and people seeking building permits on the front end, so we avoid all that confusion on the back end.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Barker.
Second, Little.
Motion made and second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business H, zoning text amendment to update use tables. Board to consider ordinance approving zoning ordinance text amendments to update the use table regulations for massage therapy establishments, medical or dental clinics, and health club and fitness centers. Director Sylvester.
So very briefly, this is really part two of a two-part text amendment that we started a while ago. And this started when I started here. There was a definition in our zoning ordinance for uses that were called physical culture. And it was very unclear what entailed physical culture. There was a definition, and you could interpret it to mean medical clinics, dental clinics, health clubs, fitness centers, massage therapy businesses. It was very hard to administer. So we'd get requests, can I do this business here? And we'd look at this definition for physical culture. So we created three distinct definitions for those uses: medical and dental clinics, massage therapy, and health and fitness centers. That portion was discussed and I think came up in front of you maybe about a year ago and was recommended for approval at that time. Part two is what we're talking about now, is updating the use tables to say in what zoning districts are those various types of activities that I just listed permitted or special uses. And the recommendation from staff and then from the Planning and Zoning Commission is to make those uses permitted uses in many districts, and I believe special uses in a couple of the districts. And I just want everyone to be very clear that the recommendation would make some of those uses, including medical clinics, for example, or massage therapy businesses, permitted in the downtown. I think part of the argument or part of the reasoning is with the B1 permit, there's some protection and some review if the village didn't want any particular business in the downtown. But I want you to be aware of that and have that discussion if you feel that that should be discussed.
Related to that, I'd say that the reason this is before you again is really my fault, because when the definition changes were discussed a year ago, there wasn't a lot of discussion about the corresponding use table amendments, but it was contained in the staff report, and the chart of use table amendments was included. I thought it wasn't part of the public hearing. I went back and watched all the tapes, watched the board meeting tape. It was in fact at least briefly discussed and included. So this did not go back for a new public hearing because that was already held. We're just correcting the fact that the use table amendments was never placed into the original ordinance.
A motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Barker.
Motion been made and seconded to approve. Is the gentleman here for that? Anybody want to comment before?
I'm here for
Just a here.
questions if you guys need them, or if you guys are good with it, I don't need to speak.
All right, I didn't know if you wanted to. Trustee Barker.
Thank you. I guess the question is, as far as what is allowed in certain areas of the community, is that determined? I know we have this written down somewhere, use tables, what can go where. That's reviewed, who controls that? Is that planning and zoning? Does the village board sign off on that? And I understand that the reason we're talking about it is because things change and businesses change, and we want to be accommodating and locations would change. But what we didn't want to do is, there were certain types of businesses that we had strong feelings about not wanting in the CBD, for example.
Sure.
Or additional. And I guess we still have control.
Yes.
We're not giving that up, but we have, I have very little understanding of what is allowed and what isn't allowed.
Sure.
Based on everything is kind of in a state of flux.
If I could try to address that first, and I love the question, and I'm hoping John maybe can chime in too. In terms of who controls, ultimately it's you. The village adopts zoning rules that literally say what types of uses can go where. And it's your decisions and your predecessors' decisions that you can have a retail store downtown, but you can't have a factory downtown. And that's all in the zoning. So I hope that answers your question about who ultimately gets to decide. The follow-up, though, is in terms of ongoing day-to-day administration, there's really just sort of three categories for every type of business there is, or we say use, which is residential, office, whatever. You can prohibit it, and then it's just not allowed. You can't have a factory downtown, no matter what. It's just prohibited. You can do the opposite and make it permitted, which means it never gets reviewed by the public or the plan commission or you guys. Let's say on Ogden, a grocery store wants to go in. There's no review, it's a permitted use on Ogden. They can just open up a grocery store. We do all the permitting and the inspections and the electrical and safety and everything, but there's no public or elected official involvement. And then there's the middle category, where you can maybe go in, but it needs some scrutiny. We tell the neighbors, we run it up in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then it ultimately comes to you, and those are special uses. So if you don't want it at all, you make it prohibited in the use table. If it's a no-brainer, like a residential house, single-family house in a neighborhood, you make it permitted. If you want review, like, we better scrutinize that, you make it special. So I just want you to be clear about that. And what this is proposing is to say that, and John, I might need your help here, medical uses downtown now might either be prohibited or special.
Yeah, so what it is now, this is a change to the use list in the B1 district.
Yeah. That's where we've seen our biggest change.
Yeah, the village board, the B1 use list over years has been amended from time to time. It's retail and restaurant focused, but you get a lot of requests for non-retail, non-restaurant, particularly as the economy changes. So this one change allows medical and dental clinics on any floor in the B1 district. Previously, they were only allowed on the first floor with a special use permit. They could go on a second or third floor as of right. Likewise, massage establishments were not allowed in the B1 district. That's becoming a more popular and licensed by the state type use. And this was initiated by staff. They felt like that was an appropriate use in the B1 district, so that was their recommendation. Planning and zoning agreed. It's now before you. Likewise, in the C1 district, medical and dental clinics were not allowed. They weren't mentioned, so they were prohibited in the C1 district. Now they're allowed as of right as a permitted use in the C1 district if this amendment's approved.
Yeah. Because I think, the conversation that we hear when it gets to us is it's permitted, and it's permitted by these tables or previous decisions that were made. And, you know, like the microbreweries, it seemed like when it came to us, it was a no-brainer that was a good fit for the downtown, and everybody is doing that, but, you know, the table was lagging behind, and now that's, you know, being adjusted. Yeah, I guess it's just, in my mind, I'm just trying to be clear in that we have permitted things, but not every single thing that is a business is permitted. And then I'd like to, you know, if you can send me what those things are, you know, those tables.
Sure.
As they're amended, it would probably be helpful for all of us to see
Sure.
that, just to review it, so that we understand when you come and say it's permitted, that we go, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me, or ask the question, you know, before something ever comes to us, is tell me why we're having, what was that last one that came around? Well, it was a trustee Addington, and Harold, trustee Berry.
Was it the vape?
The vape,
Yeah.
vape shops, okay, so,
That was a very good example.
yes,
It used to be, I think we read the rules and thought that it was a permitted use, but it did need a B1 permit. The B1 permit is another layer.
Right.
And we had a discussion and said, we don't want that to be, or you had a discussion, and, you know, I was a part of that. We don't want that to be permitted
right,
in the downtown. So we changed the use tables to make it a special, no, I think we changed the use tables so they're not allowed at all in the downtown. They're now prohibited.
right,
And they're allowed in other parts of the town with a special use permit.
right. Well, and the same, you know, the same thing like the video cafes, you know, and, you know, we have changing understandings of, you know, what the limit is, and mine's very low based on our original conversations of,
Right.
I think we have enough, and this is our numbers, but if a video cafe wanted to come downtown, you know, should be a special use, we should have the ability to say no.
Exactly.
But then, I could see on the other side of this, the state would come in and say, well, you can't prevent them from coming in because they're supportive of that particular business, you know, greater than what we would be.
So real quick, before Trustee Little, if you don't mind, just two things I want to be sure not to forget. I can send you those rules, but I'll just tell everyone here and everyone that's watching at home and on the Zoom meeting, the use tables, you can just go to the village's website, go to the zoning, and they're not necessarily user-friendly. We can probably try to organize them a little better so they're easier to understand, but you can go there and you can look up any particular kind of use. And then there's columns. P means permitted, S means special. And so I would encourage anyone that's watching, if you are interested, you can go and look. And those are the rules. Those are what you can do and where you can do it. And then the second thing I just want to make sure is that it is a momentous change, or it's a big deal when we change the use table and say something that used to have to jump through a bunch of hoops and have a public hearing and get a special use permit, as we're suggesting now, would become permitted. Lot fewer hoops, no planning and zoning commission review, no notification to neighbors, et cetera. So I just want you to understand it's a big deal when we change the use table.
That was going to be my comment as to where to find them, because having worked with Chicago's, I know exactly where all the tables were, the use tables, and they do change. There's nothing set in stone. However, the nice thing is they're located in an area where they're succinct. It's all in one spot. The table is, you know, it's pretty inclusive, and you can find all your answers right there.
Two other quick thoughts. You can always call if you want to know yourself, or if you're working with a neighbor or a business partner and you want to know, hey, is this kind of a business allowed up on Pasquinelli or down on 63rd? I mean, that's what we do all day, every day, is answer those kinds of questions. And then hopefully after the pandemic, we can do, I think in the past there was sort of a planning commission, village board meeting once every year or so, and maybe we could try to cover some of this in a meeting like that.
Bruce, and you're saying a grocery store, assuming it fits into that box and they're not asking for anything different, how many businesses do you see that just fit into those descriptions that don't need anything? Special variance, special use?
I would say most. I mean, if you just look around town, there's just a lot of businesses, offices, retailers, restaurants. I mean, all of those are permitted, and they go through the building permitting and the business licensing process, but they don't go up through the Planning and Zoning Commission. If it's something new with a drive-through, any use with a drive-through needs more scrutiny, whether it's a dry cleaner, a bank, or a restaurant. Some of the more, some of the types of, and again, I always use the term use. So some of the uses that either have a history or have the potential for creating negative impacts on neighbors. So taverns and bars need a special use permit. Drive-throughs, again, probably for the same reason, with the menu boards and the speaker boxes and the traffic impacts. Those kinds of things are the ones where you need this extra review. Another more recent example is, 3 years ago, marijuana was illegal, and then the state changed the laws, and we had the discussion here and with the Planning and Zoning Commission, do we want that kind of business in Westmont or not? And the decision was sure, but the decision was also you want any marijuana business scrutinized. You wanted it to be a special use so that they would have to go through the process of a public hearing. So they're allowed in Westmont, but they have to get a special use permit.
And we created a special zoning because it was nowhere on our zoning map before because it was illegal. So we created criteria to.
Well, what we did, and again, if you don't mind, just brief little tutorial, we said they could only go in the B2 district, and that would be 63rd and Ogden primarily. We said they could not go in the B1 under any circumstances, so they would not ever locate downtown. And we said in the B2 district, they would need a special use permit. So if they found a location in the B2 district, they'd have to have the public hearing and Planning and Zoning Commission review. And there was an added wrinkle that we decided to have a spacing requirement. So that's where the mapping came in.
Any other comments? We do have a motion, so we can have a roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes, and we'll move on. Miscellaneous, does anybody have any items that were not on the agenda they'd like to bring up? Seeing none, I do need an executive session this evening, and that is for the setting the price for the sale of real estate owned by the village pursuant to Section 2C6 of the Open Meetings Act. 2, the employment and compensation of specific employees of the village pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act. And 3, pending litigation to discuss the cases of Westmont versus Lesnar and Ramirez Juca versus Westmont pursuant to Section 2C11 of the Open Meetings Act. Boy, we don't have an executive session for months, now we saved them all for tonight. So I do need a motion. I do need a motion to go to executive session to discuss those items.
Motion to go to executive session for items previously stated. Barker.
Second, Little.
Motion made a second to go to executive session. I'd ask.
So, Mr. Mayor or Steve, is there going to be a link sent to us on that right now?
There was a link sent already, and it was marked as the only link that was being sent out because it was different. So let me find that and.
Okay, I probably have it starred. I can look
That's
back
right.
at
We'll
it.
resend it. It'll be easier for the ones that aren't here. Because that's a separate link once we adjourn this, or go to executive session. I need a roll call.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
That's okay. We will be adjourning to the executive session to discuss the items I mentioned. After the executive session, there will be no further business following that executive session. So at this time, we are going to adjourn into the executive session. Thank you.